This is the model VSB burnishing machine. An excellent machine for small leather shops, a variety of leather goods applications where you're wanting to clean up raw edges, slick out edges, equalize layers, any kind of edge treatment, finish treatment that you would like to automate the process rather than do by hand. You can do not only sanding and grinding, you can do slicking, molding, forming. You can burnish with wax or without, with a variety of different wheels, different materials, leather and felt and fabrics, depending on what you need to do. And there's a lot of different wheels available that are adaptable to this machine. And this machine is a good entry-level point that can also be used later on if you get into, say, strap work and you want to do a lot of volume production. You can move up to the automatic lines that we also sell. But it uses the same wheels and uses the same similar technology, other than the fact it's a small, lightweight, compact unit, variable speed, adjustable height, edge guides. You have a port on the back for an exhaust if you'd like to set up a shop vac or a dust collection system. And it's priced right for not only a small shop or a hobby shop, but you can set up multiple stations throughout your operation for all kinds of edge work and leather goods applications. So I'm going to demonstrate how the machine is used and how to change the wheels, adjust, etc. So first of all, just to illustrate, we have on the back of the machine here 2 handles that lock the table height. You can loosen these handles and then you can adjust the height up and down according to the type of work that you're going to be working with, which wheel you're going to be using and where you want to use the wheel. So you just adjust it and then tighten it up there on the back. These edge guides are optional. These are probably more advantageous for doing grinding or leveling of edges. Let's say you've got a part like so that you want to clean up that edge and you want to do it uniformly. You can use the guides to hold a straight line as you go across that edge. You can also use abrasive wheels. These might be better off for coarser applications. All the abrasive wheels come with a straight face. They can be honed or ground with, say, a diamond tool to the shape that you would like. The diamond wheels are steel plated, and these are more expensive, but they hold their shape. So you come with 2 different wheels, or 2 different grooves in the wheel, and you can get these in a variety of sizes. But throughout the life of the wheel, this diamond plating will last a long time and will maintain a uniform edge. We also have an adaptation on this machine that uses small wheels that can go on the top for applications like, say, this, where you've got a die cut part and you would like to round those edges over. This is a very simple tool for that. It can be used stacked with the burnishing wheel, so you can grind out with one, polish with the other. And we also have these in a variety of sizes, these mini wheels. So let me show you how you would exchange the wheels. Now, this is your dust cover, and again, you can use this or not. This will keep the dust collection down, keep all the dirty and the mess down in here, and you can put a vacuum on the back of the machine. You can choose to take it off in some applications like the mini wheels. To remove it, you're going to use this wrench. And when this is on, you can use this as a handle to lift the machine and position it, but when it's off, you just loosen these screws here. This is your burnishing wheel. To release this, hold the wheel, use your wrench. To loosen the screw, you can remove the top cap and the screw. And remove the wheel. I've dropped the table down so you can see the base of the machine. This comes standard with 1 wheel and a standoff, which you see here. But you can also take and stack multiple wheels. For instance, if I like, I can use 2 different materials, it's the same, like so, and just raise my table up and down when I want to jump between one or the other. I can also use a sanding wheel, for instance. If you notice, my height is slightly different. So when I use these sanding wheels, I'll have to use these spacers that are supplied and then tighten them down with the washer, and I can use these two at the same time. For demonstration, we'll just use one wheel at this time. One important note on the wheels, many of them are marked with the direction of rotation. They do have a grain on them, and so if you look at, I have one here that is marked. These wood wheels are not, because those are all slick, but here's a prime example. This wheel here is a wax wheel, so this one actually has been already soaked in wax, so when you apply wax to the surface, it'll last much longer. You don't have to use so much wax. They cost more, but they don't use as much wax on the first time. If you're going to be using a wax wheel, though, make sure it's marked and set apart only for that kind of work, because you don't want to mix wax with painted edges. It's going to interfere with the bonding of the paint. So natural raw edges can be waxed using the wax wheels. You notice this one's got an arrow on it, so you want that to be the direction of rotation when you put it on the machine. For now, we'll just use one wheel. This is an older wheel, it's been marked. Tighten that down, hold it tight. We're good to go. Now I'm going to raise my table up to where I would like to work. Two handles. And I can lock it in place. For now, I'm going to lose my edge guides. These are adjustable backwards and forwards, but in some parts they can be getting in the way. So I'm just going to pull these off for now. Now we're wide open on the work table. Now I'm going to demonstrate on a piece of natural leather how I would be able to burnish that edge over. So I'm going to go ahead and put the cover back on, and then we'll turn it on and watch it run. Okay, this machine has some mini wheels that are available that are designed for shaping and forming, and they go on the top spindle as an accessory. We'll show you how to put those on right now. We'll first remove the top cover. Now I'm going to go ahead and do a double stack. So you can just use them right on the spindle and remove everything. Or if you want to keep your burnishing wheel in place, with the wheel should be supplied a large fender washer, and you have a small washer as well. And this will make a double stack with this screw. You're going to replace the screw. You go right down on the center. This is line up right on center. Tighten it up, like so. Now we also have these platform standoffs. If you're going to be using the optional platform, I'm going to use the large platform right now for demonstration. In fact, here I'll tie them in the back here. You have the option either way. I can use the front screws or the back screws. For right now, I'll just use the back ones. Okay. So this is the full-scale platform. We also have one that is chopped down here, so you have line of sight here. That just gives you more support on bigger parts. When you put the platform in place, you do have to be careful how you center it. You need to align it with the center of the hole with the wheel. You You don't want that wheel rubbing on the platform, it will grind. Okay, get that firm. I'm going to go ahead and lower my table down now. Actually, I'm going to raise it up, take that back. I'm going to go right to this top groove right here. Line up the area I want to work with, lock it down. Now that we have our table mounted, our wheel mounted, and everything is on level, we're going to want to use our higher speed settings when we're grinding. You don't want to use a slow RPM because this is a smaller diameter. So somewhere in the middle or your higher speeds will be better. And this is a good example of something you want to shape with this. Maybe it's just die cut, you want to level out the edges. You see right there, just knocking down the corners. Platform again helps you keep everything steady. And polish it out with the lower platform. If you use the Mini, you'll have a clear line of sight. Okay, now the wheel's in place, and we're going to burnish just a natural old veg tan piece of leather. Nothing fancy about this. This is pretty tough and dry. There's not a lot of oil or natural wax to this leather. So if I was to burnish this with a lot of heat, it would crust over. I'll show you that in a second. So I'm going to want to do probably a slower speed, and I'm going to want to use a burnishing wax. We supply this wax in natural black and brown. You can also use, if you'd like, a softer wax like a beeswax. This is not going to give you as hard of a shell, but it will kind of bond the fibers of the edge together. Some people will blend their own wax with like a paraffin. We can supply this in a nice blended state already, and then you can use other kinds of waxes. This is a carnauba wax, but you can use shoe polish wax like a Yankee wax. We stock those as well. It depends what kind of effect you're trying to go with. But the most common and popular is the burnishing wax. So to apply this, you're going to apply it to the wheel. So I'm going to turn the machine off first, go down to the bottom, and then up one on my speed setting to the slowest speed. And this is the speed I want to use to apply. Hold on to the wax stick. I want to be at the slow speed so I'm not throwing wax everywhere. Otherwise it just goes off into the workshop. So I'm going to apply my wax like so, just to the surface that I'll be working with. Now I'm going to go ahead and turn my speed up. Now this is going not the fastest, but this is pretty fast. And on some leathers you'll see if you go this speed, there you are right now with a little bit of wax. That's making a big difference. It's helping bond the paint together, or the edge together fairly well, and I'm getting a slick surface. Now if I want to remove the sharp edge, you can just take and angle the part. So I'll do a surface pass, and I'm going to knock the sharp edge at a slight angle, and I've rolled that edge over. Do the same thing on the bottom. It's looking better. And I'm getting a nice glazed shell over the top of that edge. You see how this work table is helping me keep a straight line. If you do this on a vertical machine, it's hard sometimes to hold the edge true. So I'll just work back and forth. I don't want to stay in one place for too long because it'll burn. Nor if I go too fast without any kind of wax, it will burn the edge too. So it's actually coming out pretty nice. And that slicked the edge over fairly well, but there's a little bit of wax. And it didn't take much time at all. You see a little bit of shine starting to develop right there. but it's not a crusty edge, not so much. You do have to be careful though, because if you go too hot, you will burn the leather. So that's the beauty of having a variable speed machine, is you can slow it down to your leather so you don't go too fast. So I'm going to try this again with a little bit slower speed setting. Again, I'm going to apply a little bit of wax at a slow speed. Just go up a couple notches from there. Nice steady speed. Now this is a this particular wheel I'm using right now is a leather felt wheel, and it's got a little bit of leather, mostly felt. Felt polishes more. Leather's more of a burnishing medium, and it on a veg tan leather will help kind of roll the edge over. This is the most common, which is like a 50-50 combo, leather felt. For applications where you want to go really aggressive, you can go with a split leather. Oh, that's not it. There we are. There's a split leather, or you can get a top grain leather belt, and these are all flaps, and so this gives you a real hard burnish action, less polish, more rubbing. Some people do like the wood wheel effect, so you can take and groove out your own, or again use a phenolic wheel that's been perforated to reduce the amount of trash buildup on the wheel. This is again going to be similar to your exotic wood wheels, because it's a resin fiber material, but it slicks over the material very similar to a hardwood. So going back, and we're burnishing at medium speed now. I have a natural edge here, got some fuzz on it, so you can see right here. Just a little bit of action, knock that fuzz down. You can see it roll over real quickly. And we're good there. Now, the first time I ran through there, I got a little bit dark here, and I was starting to burn the edge. Now at medium speed, I'm not getting those dark shines so much. So I'm going to go on this raw edge here, a little bit of wax, surface pass, roll over the sharp corner, 45 degree, I'll get that underside. Now I've just knocked those corners nice and clean, and that's pretty good. It's a little bit rough still, so I'll go over that edge again one more time. Add a little bit more wax. There we go. You can see the wax being applied there to the edge. It transfers from the wheel to the leather and just melts right in. There we go, and that's nice and slick, a nice smooth edge. The more you work it, the harder it, or the smoother it will get. So if I go back to this edge I was working with, I'm going to go up a little bit faster on my speed, and just be careful not to sit in too long in one place. See that shine start to develop, and we're just using wax, that's all. Friction of the wheel, I don't need a lot of pressure. High RPM, I can work faster. Just be careful on the heat, you don't want to burn the leather. And you're moving along there. Knock the other sides, we're doing good. Nice slick edge. We're going to try this part here. You see it kissing that corner right there. I'm getting a little bit of a dark color, so I'll slow it down some. Now this particular leather, it's got a looser, drier nature to it. So something like this you might try painting first if you're going to paint the edge, or use a clear coat to seal the edge, and then work on top of that. Here we have an exotic, looks like an alligator with a veg tan liner. So I'm going to go ahead and polish that edge. This is just square cut before. You can see it's smoothing out. I'm cutting back that knife edge there. I want to roll that. Now this is where your diamond wheels come into play. If you get a diamond wheel and you've got the smaller radius, you can go in there and just knock those sharp corners with the diamond wheel first. And this is an ideal type of leather for this. Or you can do like I'm doing and just roll it if you have a leather that's going to be pliable, shapeable like a good veg tan. And you can kind of see there with the shine where it's rolled that sharp corner around. Now I can just take and polish a little bit of the edge. And I'm getting a nice smooth base to build on. On a 2-ply like this, you're still going to want to, I would recommend painting the edge, let it dry, and then use this machine here to smooth out the roughness, because your paint works like a filler, bonds your fibers together and gives you something to work on, kind of like sanding a primer coat on a paint job. You got to start with a base, smooth it out, add some color on top of that. So normally this is a multiple step process unless you're trying to do a veg tan natural raw burnish. Here's an example. This is a nice quality veg tan. See that edge? That's looking out real nice. So different leathers will behave differently. It depends on their tannage, how loose the fiber is, how loose the bond is. So this particular material here is taking very little work. When you have a loose fiber, or maybe it's something that's not a veg tan that doesn't burnish, you're going to want to use your paints as a medium to hold them together, or your clear coats or your primer. First start with that, bond the fibers together, and then work from there. But this is working together really nicely without anything on this particular leather. And again, if I notice I'm not getting a lot of progress, if it's still kind of dry, just a little bit of wax. Makes your job much easier. This would only be for natural burnished edges with no paint. And that's come out really nice. You compare that. So that's a nice smooth edge right there. This is rough still. This is nice and smooth, got a little bit of a shine to it on the edges. Nice smooth finish.